Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is CherryBoy.
Welcome back to Oppai Cafe. My mother, my sister, and me. We're back, fam. Now let's get right back into it.
Big brother, look at my breast.
Even if you told me to look, well, of course, even if you asked me not to look, I would. But what's gotten into you now? This time, she suddenly flashed me her breasts. Everything happened so quickly. Everything happened so quickly that I couldn't even work out what was going on. But of course, I ended up looking. Of course, if you show me, I'm going to end up looking. Why have you got your band-aids on your... Yeah, but in fact, why are you getting your dinglings out? Even more than the band-aids on her dinglings, the fact that she was getting her breasts out like that was the real issue. But my first question was about the band-aids. Indeed. Everything about her attitude had been strange up until then, and I had so many things to tell her off about, and yet the only question I had managed to ask her wasn't really important. Was it a cry from the heart?
They got jibble, but I was too embarrassed to buy them, so instead, I used some band-aids.
I see. You know you can look online. I mean, why did you get your breasts out? Tell me, Sarah. Why? Why, Sarah? Why?
My breasts, these are my breasts, oh my!
What? Nani? What?
Faced with the situation, I was becoming more and more confused.
Okay, so Sarah's breasts were right in front of my eyes. Yes, got that. Those, both of them. Or one of them, I don't know. We had already taken baths together when we were little, but right in front of my eyes, here was her naked skin that I hadn't seen for years. They were a little small, but her breasts were lovely and firm. Totally different to my mother's, but so adorable that I could hardly take my eyes off them.
Big brother, look. It
CG! Oh god, I didn't realize that they were gone. Okay. Okay. Yes.
What are you talking about? What?
There she goes again, saying something incomprehensible.
I was really puzzled.
And that's when I understood!
You saw us.
What do you mean, like with Mom? Don't make weird comparisons! So the noise the other day, that was Sarah, and Sarah seeing that scene, for some reason, had decided to rebel against our mother.
I want you to look at them too, like you did with Mom's. I want to get you all hot and bothered. I want to make you lose your mind with the best. It's so embarrassing, but look at my mouth. Please don't
Sarah. I really didn't know what to do. Sarah knew about my mother and me. She had gotten jealous, and that's why she was acting like this.
And so, in conclusion, that meant that Sarah loved me. Doki doki ba-dum-ba-dum. Ba-dum-dum doki doki. Sarah must have realized too that I had understood. When our eyes met, we were so embarrassed that we immediately looked away. We could barely speak to each other.
I don't know, fam, I gotta see something back here. Okay, I think I might have missed something back over here. Nothing. I thought I did, but now I did. Okay.
But in spite of everything, with that view in front of me, I couldn't help myself. Just the rest of it. Okay, yeah, the options. Yes, the options. Okay, yes. Unable to hold back.
It's so embarrassing. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Oh, wait.
I know you need to look at me. I'm right here so you can look.
Then stay still. I'm going to teach you a lesson. I know.
Big brother.
Yeah. Sarah couldn't look me in the eye. She was shaking a little and she looked embarrassed.
Sarah, relax.
I decided to enjoy the feeling.
No, that's weird. Look at no more.
Okay, yes, now leave this option. Yes, this option.
So how does that feel being...
I don't really know, but I think it doesn't feel bad. That's great, that's hot.
She cried out a little when I took hold of her. She really seemed very hot, so I was going to make her feel even better. You need to cool down, lady.
That tickles.
Calm down.
Big brother.
Calm down, Sarah. I'm trying to help you. Oh, those thing legs. Okay. Don't look. You're right. There's okay.
No, don't.
Sarah's eyes welled up with shame when I stared at her, when she got so excited, so I did my thing. Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, I get it. Mashed it. Stop here. I don't know. Is that it's an object? I'm just gonna stop here. Sarah kept squirming with pleasure at my constant assault, and seemed to jump each time I brushed against her. Just head pats, that's all that's happening, man. That feels good. That feels good, doesn't it, Sarah? You show them to me so I would touch it, Sarah! Holding onto her arms, which were starting to shake with pleasure, I grabbed hold of her, okay. Okay. Okay, don't worry, okay. You probably didn't realize, but you were smiling. I'm okay. Okay, Sarah seemed to be somewhere else. Her eyes filled with tears. Her face, her ears, and her neck turned red. Then all of a sudden, she arched her back and started to cry out. Am I missing any plot here anywhere? Any plot? Okay. Okay, just with that said, I was totally ready and she started to arch her back. Her body was ready. Okay. What? Oh no. Sarah, what's going on? Sarah, have you fainted? Have you fainted? What's this about? You come and then you pass out. I mean, like, you come over here and then you pass out. Like, you brought me all the way over here and then you just pass out. That's what I meant to say. Why, Sarah? Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Dang, Lolly. She had fainted. The shock of her first must have made her blood pressure drop. Oh, Sarah, really? Are you in a state of shock? You fainted? Oh no. Even though I was a little worried, I picked Sarah up with a smile. She really had passed out. Don't move. There you go. Sit down. Seriously, passing out? There's a limit to shyness, you know. Okay, so... Oh, Sarah? Really? Are you in a state of shock? You fainted? I don't know how to do that. I think it's better the first way. Okay. I sat Sarah down, still sweaty and exhausted. Then... It does not end there, does it? Come on! Oh, Sarah, get it together! Hey, stay with me! Wake up, Sarah! Dizzy, Sarah was clinging onto my shoulders. Then I go, okay, because I just... I'm sorry, but all you need to do is relax, okay? Okay, jeez. Okay, yes, okay, just do the thing. Okay, mash that thing, mash. Hey, it's over, girl. Flop, flop. Sarah, you're awake. I'm sorry. I couldn't hold it any longer, so I just, had to do. Okay, still shaking from her loving eyes. Sarah still seemed a little vague. She was looking at her armpit. So, okay, in surprise, her eyes wide. Her eyes widened. She probably didn't understand. No, she absolutely didn't understand what had just happened. All she knew was that her armpit was hot and something, sweat. The sweat, that's all it was. Believe me.
Boy, it's right here. It smells it's warm. It smells strong. It's making my nose tingle. It's really...
Yes, that's right, Lord. I'll get this all to work for it! She remained sitting and seemed to be intrigued by her first experience of WWE. Personally, it wasn't the kind of thing I really wanted to see too much, but from her point of view, it must have been very interesting. But from her point of view, it must have been very interesting.
So that's what it looks like.
Okay, but it's my Louie. Is it really that interesting? Well, I suppose it must be. I suppose it must be a discovery for a young girl. Yeah. Sarah carried on meticulously, inspecting the thingling that I wanted to apologize for having used her when she had fainted. But as she didn't seem to be upset, I let her carry on being fixated by my thingling. It's nice to see that you're so touched by it. You can look as you want. You can look as much as you want. Touch it, study it closely, Sarah. Boy. Then collapsing on the ground and enjoying this moment of relaxation. Then collapsing on the ground and enjoying this moment of relaxation. I wanted to hold out my hand to my adorable little sister. I'll go one more time. Then collapsing on the ground and enjoying this moment of relaxation. I wanted to hold out my hand to my adorable little sister.
Kazuki, Sarah.
What? Oh no!
What is he shouting for? Let's see.
Feeling someone behind me, I turned around and saw my mother! Even though she was a little far away, it was clear that she could see perfectly well what was going on. And she was smiling. When did she come in? I hadn't heard a thing. At least I don't think I had. She must have slipped in without making a sound, like a ninja. And with us being in the middle of things, we hadn't noticed anything. What? What? Mom! What are you doing here? The thing is,
No!
Mom carried on smiling at our vain attempts to explain ourselves. She didn't seem surprised, in spite of the situation. It was as though she already knew.
I already knew about you two. I'm your mother. I at least know who my daughter is in love with.
There. Whew. Okay, sorry.
I already knew about you two. I'm your mother. I at least know who my daughter is in love with.
I think that's the right voice. She's dying from embarrassment, fam. She seemed to have understood the whole thing. She seems to have understood the whole thing. She knew everything. Whereas I hadn't even noticed about Sarah, it was probably maternal instinct. Like ultra instinct, but stronger. That was why she didn't really seem that surprised. It was just an I knew it. But Sarah was close to tears, and I was finding it hard to breathe. Whereas I hadn't even noticed about Sarah, it was probably maternal instinct. Yeah, sorry about that, right? Whereas I hadn't even noticed about Sarah, it was probably maternal instinct. Yeah, something like that. Whereas I hadn't even noticed about Sarah, it was probably maternal instinct. Ah, sorry about that. Okay. But Sarah was close to tears, and I was finding it hard to breathe. Putting us out of our misery at last, my mother gave us a protective look.
So don't hold back on my behalf. After all, I've known all along. So carry on experimenting. Don't be frustrated. Do what you feel like doing.
You mean what we feel like doing? In spite of everything, we stayed silent. We really couldn't manage to follow our mother's logic. But we should probably have been grateful that she had accepted us rather than judging us.
Kazuki, you are the man of the house. You are the man of the house now. So I'm counting on you to put yourself in the customer's shoes and to help us create a super costume cafe, okay? Kazuki, you are the man of the house now. So I'm counting on you to put yourself in the customer's shoes and to help us create a super costume cafe, okay? Okay? And if you're ever full of lust, Mommy will relieve you. Don't worry.
What are you saying, Mom? Her words alone could have given me excitement, but I thought of Sarah and stopped listening somewhere along the line. Sarah, who must have noticed the state I was in, out of air, sorry. Sarah, who must have noticed the state I was in, said to me in a silent but firm voice,
I'll give you relief too. So don't hesitate.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Did you hear us?
I think she heard. I think she heard.
Mom, what is with you two? Really? What is with you two? What is with you two? Really?
Big brother, I want to do it too. I would do my best. I would do it so. I would do it. I would do it so.
My mother was smiling. My sister too, as she muttered, and I didn't know what to say, and I just sighed. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't really know what to say. And I didn't know what to say, and just sighed. So that's how my mother, my sister, and I, my precious family, found a relationship turned upside down. Inside out, turned inside out, turned upside down, inside out, back, front, and back. Yeah. This is just a prologue. Okay. So that's how my mother, my sister, and I, So that's how my mother, my sister, and I, my precious family, found a relationship turned upside down. Upside down, front and back, inside out. Oh boy. That's not better the first time, sorry. Alright, Oppai Cafe. My mother, my sister, and me. Oh boy. I'm sorry, wicked. Morning already? Slept so well. Okay, so that's how my mother, my sister, and I. So that's how my mother, my sister, and I, my precious family, found a relationship turned upside down, inside out, front and back. Yeah, that's not bad the first time. Sorry about the first time. Anyway, but thank you guys so much for watching. That's all the time we got for this and everybody, but thank you guys so much for watching. Oh man, this game takes my breath away from all the action. I'm freaking out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, please like below. And if there's any other games you'd like me to play or do you want to talk, please comment down below as well. If you like this and like some more, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That'd be epically appreciated of you guys. And as always, my name is CherryBoy, and my goal in life to make you guys smile. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye! See ya! Yeah.